Hey there, paper geeks and glitter nerds, it's Anna, the crazy geek crafter. Maybe this project had belonged on Valentine's Day, but I wasn't finished yet, so you get it now. This is a memory box project. I saved a few things from when my fiance proposed to me, and I wanted to put them in a frame to commemorate the date. So yeah, I'm looking for anything with hearts here, and I apparently don't own much of the love theme. I mainly have birthday theme things, so but I'll make do with what I have. And I have the brochure we got at the gate and the receipt for paying for our tickets. We didn't get actual physical tickets. That's not something they do anymore, apparently. I don't remember if they did last time we were there. It's been a tradition for some years for us to go to Tivoli, which is an amusement park in the center of our capital city, Copenhagen. We do it on the day before Christmas Eve. Just the two of us, to do something romantic beneath all the twinkly lights. And this time he did outdo himself. But the project, to fit the memorabilia things I have, we need a frame that is 20 by 25 at least. I should have accounted for the actual frame being 1 centimeter deep, but it did fit anyway. I had left a bit of a margin around. Now I just need to make the frame, and that did not go well. Yeah, I wanted a deep frame with a thin, what's it called? The frame was supposed to be thin, and it was supposed to be deep to allow for some space inside for decorations and some. Well, it is shake and mix, but it's not supposed to be shaken. You can see some of my measurement over here on the side. I can tell you this much: the video will cut out in a bit because I got so caught up in this, it really didn't want to do what I wanted, so I forgot to keep an eye on the camera, and it cut out at some point. So you don't get to see all 3 tries of making this, but I have made a graphic so you can see where I went wrong. Now, so far, nothing wrong, everything is right. My problem will arise when I cut the corners. They have to be the right depth, and they have to be cut on the right side. Since mine is not completely square all around, it is important that the long and the short scored sides are cut right. And that's where I make my mistake. I do score this cardstock on both sides. It has a tendency to break otherwise. It's actually still sometimes breaks when I do it on both, but I find that it helps. I'm cutting off the excess cardstock here, cleaning it up. Ready for the defining phase of making this frame, where I go wrong the first 2 times. Let's just see. And here you have to be careful not to cut yourself, because I often get paper cuts when I'm making these. Running your fingers along the lines is hazardous. So here I'm trying to figure out how to cut it, and I figure wrong, because this wasn't the way I wanted, the way I was putting them up against each other before. That was not the way I wanted the frame to be. I wanted it to be deep and slim, and here I am making it so that it is wide and shallow. So I'm gonna keep these parts so I can make another frame another time for something else, but they won't work for what I wanted for this project. And this is where the video cuts out. And this is what I did, which was wrong. This was gonna give me a chunky frame with a shallow depth. The second one I made is this one, and you can't assemble it because it's cut wrong. I've cut it too deep down, so this is the correct way, where you do a shallow cut on the wide side and then slant it on the slim side. This is how it's gonna work for my design. I hope this makes sense. Otherwise, write to me and I'll try to explain it. But here it is, the frame finished. Now it's the decorations and, well, yeah, mainly the decoration is what's gonna take time now. I'll start out with a lot of die cutting to get the date written out. So let's get to that. When I find enough of the same color red cardstock that agrees with me. I'm not much of a red person in general, but I thought that this red would be the right color. So I think now I'm ready to start cutting. While I get these letters glued, I want to ask you for your help in boosting my my stats on YouTube. If you hit like or subscribe or make a comment, then you help me feed algorithm, which is a creature that lives inside of YouTube, and that will help me reach more people, which means I can grow my channel and get more perks from YouTube. It'll be easier to make lives, for instance, if I hit 1,000 subscribers and so on and so forth. So I hope you'll help me out. For the confetti, I did find a heart punch, so I'm going to make quite a few hearts to put inside my frame, and that does take a while. while sitting and thinking, I did remember that I did have some smaller hearts in a lawn fawn set. So I got those out and I cut quite a few of those to go with my confetti. With the hearts done and the letters and the numbers done, I am ready for the frame. But then it occurred to me, it doesn't have to be white, doesn't have to be one color. I could use some pattern paper. And I do have a paper pad with romantic papers, and I rarely ever use it because, well, I don't really do that many wedding cards or I love you cards. So this was perfect, and one of my favorite patterns were still available. This one in black with some damask-like background. And I of course picked the side with the sparklies to have upwards. So now I just need to cut it and glue it inside, of course, and then glue the letters on top and the numbers. And oh yes, there. Okay, we're about halfway there. There's still a lot to do. Whenever I make one of these frames, I do make some corners. It's just a folded piece of cardstock that is the exact depth of the frame that I glue on one side. That makes it easier to glue them together. Here I'm gonna start by gluing it on wrong. Once you get back in the picture, as you see here, it's supposed to go on the outermost edge so that it covers up the inside of the corner. If I don't get the frame to match up perfectly, this will hide any gaps as well as help me assemble this. So I'm just gonna make a few more of these now that I know the size fits. I do take another run through. Like I said, I looked through all of my stash twice for some more hearts, since I needed something bigger to keep my memorabilia pieces in place. I didn't want to glue them into the frame. I wanted to be able to take them back out without damaging them. But I had no luck finding more hearts, and actually when I was editing this, I remembered I actually do have a heart in a Sizzix set somewhere. I think it was the set that came with my sidekick. I think there's a heart in that one. I haven't dared look if I was stupid enough to forget that I had a heart somewhere. But I do have these old school cutouts that you can trace around and then cut out by hand. So that's what I did. And then I can customize the hearts to be a bit smaller. You just have to be careful you don't cut them out of shape. Hearts are kind of hard to size down because you have to take off more in some places than in others. You can't just go in 2 millimeters all the way around like you do on a circle or a square. You have to try and keep the shape of the heart still. But yeah, you live and you learn, I guess. I do make quite a few of these. Like I said, they're going to hold my memorabilia pieces in place. Since I have quite a lot of space in my frame for this, I'm going to put the hearts on these little spacers. That'll also be an easy way to make them hug my my map and or folder or whatever, the things in the frame. Hold them in there without gluing them down permanently. So I'm just going to make these little 3D risers, and then I can glue in my hearts. I completely forgot I did some highlights on the hearts and it didn't work on all of them. For some reason this Posca marker just sank into the cardstock on some of the hearts, and you saw me use the same piece of cardstock for every single heart, so I don't know why it worked on some but not on others. So I tried 2 different Posca markers and I tried a jelly roll pen to try and make it all fit. I didn't get a smudge on one of the hearts during all of this, unfortunately, but yeah, I can change the frame anytime I want, so I'm not too sad about it. But it is annoying that it kept disappearing, this white highlight. With everything ready on the insides, I just need a piece of acetate to put over top. And now it's a good thing to have a Posca marker, because you can actually draw on acetate with those, and then rub it off afterwards if you want to. If you leave it to dry, and then you have to work harder to rub it off, but it will come off. I sometimes use them to write on glasses when we have guests, so that everyone knows which glass is theirs. So here is the acetate piece, and I need to put in my hearts here at the bottom. I did contemplate gluing some of the smaller hearts up top, but I decided not to. So I'm gluing in the acetate, and then I'll need a frame on top as well as some contraption for hanging this. I have a spot for it on my wall where at Christmas my now I have a machine gun ho 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 piece of art normally sits, but the rest of the year it doesn't really have much else. Oh yeah, I made a wreath last year, that's right, with strawberries and cherries on. That one also sometimes hangs there, but now this is gonna hang there, and I can make a addition to the back if I want it to be a standing frame to stand on a tabletop. So, but first, the frame. I contemplated a lot about this frame. It took me several days, and I thought maybe pink, maybe red, maybe black or gray, but I just ended up doing white in the end. I can always cover it up again if I don't like it. So far, I like it. I did make the frame 0.5 centimeter wider than the frame underneath, the one that holds the whole thing together, to make sure I didn't have any edges, and maybe give some more depth to the picture. I don't know if I like it. I think I do, but I'm not entirely sure. Instead of mitering the edges, I'm going to overlap so that they go, so to speak, round and round. One end is over, one end is under on every single piece. So just have to remember which one this is, and not put glue at the ends, of course. Lastly, the hanging mechanism. I'm going to find the center of the frame at the top part. Just gonna draw a line here so I can line up my piece of cardstock with a hole in it. Gonna make that here. The measurements are not that important, just that I know where the middle of the cardstock is. I'm gonna draw that in here. Also with the line, and then punch a hole. Retrospect, I should have made the line all the way down the paper. I fold a piece at the bottom to glue to my frame, so the rest will be able to move away from the frame when it's hanging. This is the final product. I hope you liked it. Dad, you'll be back next week for another one. Until then, I hope you'll be having a good day, evening or night. På gensyn.